We are witnessing history. Bitcoin won't stop hitting all-time highs. Just look at these daily ETF inflows. We had more than $1 billion come in on July 10th, and then another billion the day after. Everyone who thought that there would be a pullback and shorted Bitcoin is crying right now because there were over $1 billion in shorts liquidated. And to top it all off, this week is crypto week for the US House of Representatives. Analysts are saying that this could push us up to 135K. And that's a conservative estimate. During this week, Congress will potentially pass 3 major blockchain bills: the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act. The Clarity Act clarifies crypto regulations by categorizing digital assets. The Genius Act ensures stablecoins are fully backed by dollars and follow strict anti-fraud rules. And the Anti-CBDC Act bans a government digital dollar to protect financial privacy. All of this is setting the stage for one of the biggest bull runs in history. We're nowhere close to an alt season just yet, but altcoins are already making major moves. XLM has been crushing it and leading the way with a 70% gain in the last week. We went from the 22-cent range just a few days ago to now over 40 cents. Now, whether you're a fan of XLM or are one of those people that call it a dinosaur coin, what I'm going to reveal in this video is going to completely surprise you. First, we're going to get into some technical analysis. There's some alarming signals there. And then I'm going to open up and give you my honest and unfiltered thesis on Stellar XLM. This video is going to be packed with alpha and a unique perspective, so hit the like button and let's dive in. Let's break down what's happening with Stellar right now, because this chart is signaling something major and it's happening fast. After almost 8 months in a downward trend and a super long stretch of sideways consolidation, XLM has finally broken structure in a significant way. The move started quietly around the 24-cent mark, but what came after was an explosive shift in momentum. There's been nothing but daily green candles, and it's now pushed the price past the 40-cent mark, with volume on this move standing out as the highest of the entire year. It even surpasses the volume levels we saw during this November breakout when XLM pushed up to its cycle high near 64 cents. That kind of activity typically signals whale accumulation or institutional interest. It's not just a retail-driven pump. At this point, the price is pushing into a key psychological resistance zone between 48 and 50 cents. If we see consolidation in this range without major rejection, it could set up a clean move towards a retest of the 64-cent high. But if sellers step in and the price falls to hold above 42, we could be looking at a healthy pullback to the 36 to 38 range, or even deeper to the 30 to 32 cent area. These would likely act as support and offer opportunities for a higher low, keeping the overall bullish structure intact. The main thing to watch is whether volume remains high and candles close without having big pullbacks in the day. Those are signs of strength and controlled momentum. When we look at the high-level pattern, this move marks a clear transition from an accumulation phase to a rally phase. If this breakout holds, there's a real chance the push-up could just continue for a while. But if momentum fades and we fall back into a wider range, the setup is still very solid, because this shift in behavior is the strongest signal XLM has given in months. There's been some pretty big news for XLM in the last few days, so this could technically be a pre-alt season pump. Once we enter alt season, we could see even more action for Stellar. Now, don't forget, if you do want to trade XLM or any other crypto for that matter, check out the WEEX exchange. If you sign up specifically with my link, they're going to give you up to 30,000 USDT in bonuses, and you could automatically get a 30% reduction on your trading fees. This is one of the best exchange deals on YouTube, and it's only available for a limited time. So sign up with the link down below and let me know what you think. Now, when it comes to these charts, you also have to remember that TA just gives us one side of the story. There's macro and geopolitical factors that can completely shake things up. There's also how the crypto market as a whole is trending. And then there's one of the most important things: how is the actual project performing when it comes to accomplishing its goals and pushing for its vision? And what are the major risks? Well, I've been watching XLM very closely this year, especially after it rallied from 9 cents all the way to 64 cents at the tail end of last year. That's more than 600%. Yes, we can do all the tea in the world, but it's helpful to look at things from a simple perspective as well. XLM has proven that it had the ability to rally in the last risk-on period that we saw. Therefore, we can expect it to rally in risk-on periods going forward. As long as we assess that the hype is still there, the project is continuing to make progress, and there's no major new risks or major new competitors. So with that said, here's my thesis for XLM. It's not about having the flashiest tech. There's a lot of blockchains with cutting-edge infrastructure. But did they rally over 600% last year? And are they one of those top gainers in this major Bitcoin rally? No. XLM has something else going for it. It's everywhere and people know it. Imagine someone new to crypto. They're not reading white papers. They're probably on CoinGecko checking out the top coins. Bitcoin and Ethereum are familiar to them, but then they see Stellar in the top 15. That's what they'll start Googling or putting into ChatGPT. Plus, with crypto ETFs popping up, a lot of newcomers using regular brokerage accounts can only buy a few coins, and XLM is one of them. That's a huge advantage. Big investors like banks or pension funds think the same way. They don't want risky, unknown projects. They stick to the established names, the safe bets. XLM's market position makes it a go-to. Sure, some techie funds chase wild new coins, but most don't. Stellar is all about making global payments fast, cheap, and accessible, especially for people around the world who don't have easy access to banks. It's got a solid setup for cross-border transfers and turning real-world assets into digital tokens. Last year, BlackRock estimated that RWA tokenization would grow to $10 trillion. Fast forward to today, analysts are estimating a whopping $30 trillion by 2030. Here on RWA.xyz, we can see that Stellar already has almost $500 million in tokenized assets on chain. It's the 5th biggest, and not too far off from Solana and Aptos that are right above it. Franklin Templeton is expanding its tokenized US Treasury fund on Stellar, while stablecoins on the network have grown 300% this year. With $1.7 trillion under management, they're showing trust in Stellar for handling big financial products. Stellar is aiming to get $3 billion in real-world assets on chain by the end of the year. They're also teaming up with Paxos and Ondo Finance to tokenize things like bonds or property, and they're projecting $110 billion in trading volume from that. This is where we see that institutional connection continue to come in handy, allowing Stellar to link traditional finance with crypto. More assets means more network use, which could increase demand for XLM since it's needed to complete those transactions. And there's more that Stellar has going for it. PayPal's gearing up to launch its PYUSD stablecoin on Stellar, just waiting on approval from New York's regulators. This could make global payments even smoother with Stellar's fast speeds and low costs. And it already seems to have contributed to the price action for XLM. This all lines up with how Stellar helps with financial access for people without banks, bringing in PayPal's huge user base, and potentially driving more everyday use of XLM. When it comes to the tech, the Stellar Protocol 23 upgrade is set for August 14th, which is also contributing to some of the price action we're seeing. This update boosts smart contracts and DeFi features, making the network more versatile for apps beyond just payments. It ties into Stellar's focus on scalability, which could attract more developers and keep the ecosystem growing steadily. Stellar is also partnering with MasterCard on central bank digital currencies and cross-border payments. They're building on last year's work and even tying into Stripe's recent moves with stablecoins. It's about using Stellar's efficient setup to connect banks and blockchain. And this could position Stellar better in regulated spaces, though it'll depend on how these projects roll out, and it reinforces their role in making global finance more connected. All of these updates and partnerships are massive, yet some are still calling XLM a dino coin. The 2025 roadmap is targeting $1.5 billion in total value locked and 5 million active addresses, with TVL already up 4 times this year and over 450 projects in the works. It's all about scaling DeFi, payments, and those real-world assets. This shows a clear path for growth, attracting more users and builders to the network, which aligns with Stellar's long-term play in everyday crypto solutions. Stellar is quietly building a strong case for itself, bridging the gap between traditional finance and crypto with a focus on real-world impact. The RWA niche is going to be big, and institutions are finally here to stay in crypto. So it's the perfect storm for Stellar to succeed. The charts are showing promising signs, A breakout with strong volume is bullish, especially after we saw XLM's ability to run at the end of last year. Of course, there's risks to think about, like market volatility or regulatory changes. But the fundamentals are solid and the network's growth is steady. Because of the way Stellar is tied to institutions, there's an interesting mix here of opportunity and stability. And in this video, I've only scratched the surface when it comes to Stellar. Right now, I'm very deep in researching all the risks and challenges associated with the project, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you can tune into that video right when it drops. And if you're interested in learning more about projects I'm watching closely, come and join me in the FireHustle Discord. You can find the link in the description below. And as I sign off, I want to remind you that I am not a financial advisor and my videos are for educational purposes only. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.